Great. Welcome back, everybody, to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Josh Fenton, and it is Business Monday. I want to thank our friends over at Deepwater Wind for all their support. And we have here one of the presidents of one of the leading ad agencies, female boss up at G Media, Megan Decker. Megan,
Hi.
thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, so you were big New York Omnicom exec, and you have found your way to Providence, Rhode Island,
Back
in
home.
the hub of commerce here on Way-Bossett Street.
Yes.
Gary Sass was just on, sort of analyzing the lack of strategic economic development. What's your take? You just came from the absolute mecca of commerce, and
Yes.
and what's your take on Rhode Island?
I'm going to bring back the strategic planning to Rhode Island. So excited to be here.
That's great.
Or at least be a part of it, I hope. Yeah, excited to come back to my roots, originally from Rhode Island. Born and raised in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Went out to New York, where I did work at all of the, your top 5 agencies, WPP, Ogilvy, Omnicom Media Group, where, what my last big role was, where around that time is when I met Dave Paolo, the current CEO of G Media. And yeah, I think we had a 3-year conversation that finally ended this summer, where I was excited to come on board. We have a big partnership together. David has been, an entrepreneur in the industry with building his own companies. And with my agency background, which has been really built on brand strategy, I love data and analytics, so the media component, and helping brands thrive and reinvent themselves as well.
So, heads of ad agencies in this market, really, the only woman's kind of boss that I can think of is Patty Garrahy. Had PGR Media here and had a cadre of top-level brands. She bought for Tommy Hilfiger for years and years, and had numerous fashion brands, and had Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mass and of New Jersey, and she built a mega media buying agency. How have you found it being a leading business leader, and what the reaction's been for you coming up from New York and being a strong woman leader?
I think it's been really exciting and very welcoming.
Yeah.
I think it, Rhode Island especially is a place where it's a small enough state where you could come back and you just
Right.
feel like
Everybody comes back, right?
you feel like you never left, which is nice. And it's a little bit of a different culture. I think the big piece for me, and what was so exciting about coming on board with G Media, is I've been at all these big agencies, and I think there's so much opportunity for growth in these companies in Rhode Island that are growing and expanding,
Right.
probably faster than they'd even thought about or planned to. And I think there's great opportunities for strategists and planners and advertising to find a home in these companies and help them build their brands.
G Media works with some small and mid-sized Rhode Island-based, and also some mega companies. One of yours, we found out, is MetLife, where you do very significant work for them.
Absolutely.
And talk a little bit about that. MetLife could be anywhere, could have any agency in the world, and they partnered with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that credit, Dave Paolo, our current CEO, we really built that relationship through their former CEO, and it has expanded.
Yeah.
And I think what they're doing I can only speak so much being under NDA about their marketing strategy, but they're really innovative in their segment, and everything we're expanding beyond property and casualty. We're moving into all of their lines of business. I think it's an exciting place to be for engagement marketing.
And you're not an agency that just works with tech or healthcare or insurance.
We
and
work with
financial
liquor,
service.
you name it.
Is that a trade deal?
Yes,
Is the liquor
absolutely.
all trade?
I only do deals that involve liquor. No, I'm just kidding. No, we work with a lot of, we do work with a lot of healthcare clients. But it's everything from engagement marketing to your traditional advertising to media placement. We're a full service agency. But yeah, we work with tech companies. We work with some local clients here in Rhode Island. We work with a lot of folks in Boston. And a big part of my role coming into the agency is for portfolio growth.
Right.
So I'm bringing in a lot of our relationships from a national perspective, New York, and really bringing them into our agency here in Rhode Island.
So in the 80s, early 90s, Providence was literally a leading hub of creative agencies. It was Pagano, Schenck and Kay and Leonard Monahan.
I don't remember. I was like 2. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But
Just
these were they were written up in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and, global awards, et cetera, et cetera. And it seemed like Providence was really going to take off and become the mega hub for advertising outside of kind of Madison Avenue. And it didn't happen. And I think some of the challenges was getting people, top talent, a lot of homegrown, but getting other talent here. Are you seeing any of those challenges as you grow, that you need to find new ways to bring people in, or is there enough talent here to be able to explode it out of Rhode Island talent?
So I think it's twofold. I think there's absolutely tons of unlimited talent here in Rhode Island. And I think there's also the other piece of there's a lot of great businesses in Rhode Island that use agencies outside of Rhode Island.
Totally.
So it's twofold.
Right.
So I don't know if part of it is the companies and the brands are unsure of if they can find that top tier talent and just immediately go to that New York or Boston agency because they know they're going to get the best. And I think that that's a big part of what Dave and I are building at G Media is you're still going to get that higher level of strategic alliance. You're going to get you're going to get exactly what you're looking for that makes sense for your brand, right? Because we have our local clients that some things they just don't need.
So let's talk about media for a second.
Good.
So when you started in the business, it was print and TV and radio and maybe a magazine here and a little outdoor, and now the world's completely changed. You've got to get to this device. You've got to find ways to entertain people. You've got to be able to break through a massive amount of clutter. People are spending, the average woman 35, 54 is 27 times on her Facebook mobile a day.
Yeah.
The average person's picking this up 160 times.
Yeah, I think they're spending, 12, the average US American last year was 12 hours on media and technology.
Right. I mean,
and
it's
6 hours sleeping and 5 hours working.
Right.
So
I mean, it's just, the numbers are just monumental. You saw Friday it was announced that the Boston Herald is going into Chapter 11. Listen, the Boston Herald wasn't always the most healthy newspaper, but it was a big city, vibrant tabloid, and the game's changed. How does that affect you, and how does that affect the conversations you have with clients and the strategies you build?
So again, I think, a great question. I think it's really important to understand your client, size of them, who their target audience is, and being very careful about the strategy that you move forward with. We have clients who don't touch a lot of media. They're just very traditional, and that's how they choose to move forward. We have other clients where we're opening up and expanding these opportunities for them to show them where we can really find more return on investment. So I think it really depends. I think there's a big push now on online content. Everybody's been saying that for years, right? But at the end of the day, cable's going away, you have your Netflix, and you have all of Hulu, and you have all of these platforms that it's cheaper for them to advertise. It is easier for them to reach their audiences. So I think it's really just figuring out what the right mix is, and I don't think there is a perfect model that fits, it's cookie cutter that fits everybody. It really depends on the client.
A last question. Talk just a tad about the difference. Your mom, you have twins?
I have twins.
Yeah. One set of twins? Not two set of twins?
One set of identical boys, yes.
Identical boys. You lived the rat race of New York City, and now you've got a different lifestyle. Are you able to keep the ferocious energy, competitive juices of New York going while you're in Providence, Rhode Island on Way Boston Street?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's because...
Is it Red Bull driven, or is it...
I was going to say it is definitely driven by more coffee. There's more caffeine. There's maybe that extra turbo shot in the coffee in the morning. Getting up at 5 a.m. or so to make it in for the 2 days that I spend out here. But, you know what, I think it just depends on the person, right? There's nothing wrong with whichever way you go or path, but I think itching to get back to work maybe 2 months after having them. And plus, I'm just going to hire them
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the next
right,
few years.
right. There are strict child labor laws. I just want you to consider that as you move forward.
What were the ages again? 7 and 9?
I believe it's somewhere around there. Listen, I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
It's great to have you, and keep us up to date on what's going on with the agency. And I think it's always interesting to get insights into how people who are working on the direct line are seeing how the Rhode Island economy is performing. It's great to get the numbers from the Labor Department or the Governor's office, but I think the better view in is agencies. Agencies know when the recession's coming, before and when the economy's starting to explode.
Absolutely. So we're really excited to try and really drive more business into Rhode Island and Providence, and go from there.
Great.
I think there's a lot of great opportunities.
We're going to be right back. Kate Nagel, news editor, is going to come in and give just an update on what's going on in the Lance Robin expose that GoLocal's been working on for about the last year plus. And then Kyle Rowley, former professional football player, and I think many people in Rhode Island know him from his career both at Hendricken and at Brown University. He's coming in, he's starting a new business, and we want to hear all about it. So we'll be right back in about 30 seconds.